Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, I want to talk about the Crying Sky raid and give my honest review on it. And I'm also going to be talking about what you're going to want from this raid as well if you are a PvE or a PvP player. I did make a similar video touching on this before in the past, but I figured I'd rather make a whole review and just slightly touch on these points in this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know down there in the comments below, and I can help you out with a specific build or any questions about a raid or a guild. I can help you out with that stuff. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into things right away. So right away, I'm going to show you guys the drops you're most likely going to want from this raid. Now, starting off with the PvE audience, you're probably definitely going to want the Shibalba deck. This is just a really solid deck, and it gives a D-Lance item card, I believe, which is really powerful for a PvE player with the stats on the deck it gives as well. Also, you're going to want the wand. Now, this wand is essentially the same as your Aeon wand, but you drop Pip Conserve for shad rating. And Pip Conserve in PvE doesn't really mean much because, when your opponent is dead, right? When you 7-pip AoE, they're dead. You don't need the pip conserve, right? You might just want the extra shads so you can shad on like round 1 instead, right? And in terms of gear, that's pretty much the two best pieces in the raid. There's, the rest of the gear set is decent, but there's better gear elsewhere in the game. Right now, for PvP players, the wand as well is going to be meta for a couple of schools, especially a school like Storm where you don't really need Pip Conserve at all. It might be decent on a couple other schools like Death as well, since you don't need P-Serve on a Death either. And the gear set is going to be really good for PvP players, It's going to be a mix and match between the Burrow gear and the Shibalba gear, and maybe the Hunra gear. So if you are into PvP, unfortunately, you are going to have to grind out this raid for the entire gear set, like the first raid with Melody and Void gear. Players are still trying to figure out how to do the whole raid, so keep that in mind. It's been like, I don't know, 2 weeks, and people still haven't figured out how to do it. But when I do figure out how to do the raid, I'll have a guide here on the channel to help y'all consistently get through it, just like the first Dragonspire raid we had last year. Now, let's talk about the new raid itself, now that we got the drops out of the way, guys. So, I actually really like this raid. I like the innovation on it. I like how I came into this raid, I was very confident, and then I just got immediately shut down. I didn't know anything, so that's a pretty humbling feeling, I will say, from KingsIsle and the devs, which I guess they did a good job on that. And yeah, I like how this raid is kind of designed, or like the first one. If you're not max level, you can still bring value to the team and do stuff. More so than the last raid. The last one you could only do drums, I believe, if you weren't max level. Now you can fish. Now you can do pods. You can do cantrips for like the main fighting teams as well. It's a lot more intuitive for players who are not max level, which I can appreciate. For those players who do want to raid but might not have somebody 160 and ready to go. And the raid itself is just so beautiful to look at. Man, like, I suggested they should have done Azteca or Chrysalis, and I'm so happy they actually listened to that feedback. I know a lot of people don't like Azteca, but I know y'all can, I'm telling y'all, you guys cannot tell me this new raid does not look absolutely, like, stunning. Like, it looks beautiful, this new raid. We all love to hate on Azteca. I get it. It's long and stuff. I get it, guys. But this raid is so freaking nice to look at, and I appreciate that so much as a player. And let's talk about the soundtrack. The soundtrack of this new raid is like probably top 5 of my favorite music themes in all of the, Wizard101 game. And that's saying something. There's a lot of themes of music in this game. Like, as you guys know, there's like a theme per zone. There's how many worlds, how many zones. There's a lot of music to go through. So again, hats off to the art team and the music team for stuff like that. Again, like the visuals and the sound, just peak really great stuff from them. Another positive I do want to talk about is that supposedly you can actually craft the new Shababa or Hanra gear, but we haven't seen a recipe in the Battle Crafter yet for that, so I'm not sure if that's just a rumor or it's not in the game yet, but you actually have to get the gear before it pops up in the crafter. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work just yet, but if there is a pity system, that is, again, good innovation from the first raid. In the first raid, you could do that thing like 400 times and still not get your Storm Melody robe. Like a couple of players I know struggled to do that, but now if they have this pity system in, there will eventually be an end to your grind, which I think is really, really cool. I think that will help a lot of players. Now let's talk about the difficulty of this raid. Now guys, I am somebody who actually likes difficulty in my games. I know it's subjective. I know people, are pretty big on accessibility and stuff like that, and I do understand where y'all are coming from. But me, in my opinion, I like difficult games. I like playing Souls games, Dark Souls, Sekiro, Elden Ring. I'm into that stuff, right? So the raids for me are a lot of fun, albeit, getting 12 people together and the amount of, money it costs and the time is just way too high, in my opinion. I do enjoy the actual content that the developers put out for this raid. And combined with Test Realm, I think it's been like 4 to 5 weeks and we're still not even on to the boss fight yet. Now today, as of the time of me recording this audio, we will be having a raid over on my Twitch live stream, probably about 3 hours after this video comes out, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to check that out. But I have a lot of people in my raid today that have done it before, and I'm pretty confident that we could probably get all the bosses spawned and get them done, because a lot of these people have been doing it since Test Realm, and it's just a very well put together team. So if you guys do want to check out some good raid content, be sure to check that out on my live stream today or tonight or this evening, whatever, over on my Twitch in a couple hours. But yeah, when your team can work together really well, it feels so good to progress in this raid. Like the second you knock out like the west and the north, and then you move to like the east and the south, for example, or something, it feels so good to do that in this raid. And I really like the sense of like teamwork in this raid, because I feel like that was really missing in the first one. Like, yeah, the outside could cast a fight into the Vanguard team, but that's pretty much it. But in this one, like you're all in the same area for the most part. Like it depends on the quadrant, of course, but you're all like in the same area. Like you're all working on the west together, right? You might have your Vanguard or one of your fighting teams on the west, but your people, like your outside team, is literally on the outside of your combat, right? And they can cantrip at any time. So I like that this one is not as isolated as the first raid. Like I can see my teammates around me. They can be a lot more helpful. It feels a lot more, I don't know, it just feels a lot more, I don't know how to describe the feeling. It's just like, there's just more community there, I guess. And I guess that's something I didn't realize about the first raid. Yeah, I liked the concept of it, and it was fun, but going from the first one to this one, being on Vanguard just felt so like isolating. But now it's like if you're a main fighting team, like you can just finish a fight and go help your homies, and it just feels really good. I'm not really sure how I can explain it any better than that, but I do like that feeling as opposed to being isolated in the first raid. So yeah, overall, that's pretty much everything I gotta say about it. It looks really nice. I think as long as we do get that pity system, that's pretty good innovation. The raid itself, really good stuff. I explained to you guys what drops you're gonna want, stuff like that. I guess at the end here, I could touch on the fact that I think maybe the drops are maybe a little too good for a raid, kind of like the first one with the Void and the Nullity. But KingsIsle did change the Void and Nullity gear around quite a bit in that first raid, so we might see that again this time around. Who really knows? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to completing this, getting a guide on it, and seeing more of the community, try this raid and see their feedback on it. But I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, y'all.